Shalom, Kahala, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh, Bahashim, Kakwadash, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. And shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yahshua, back with the World War III daily update. Shalom and salutations to you as well. And we're going to start right here with those Medes. Throughout the weekend, Vlad is getting some get back right now, and the mainstream media is completely quiet about it. And there's a lot of rumors of war going on out there, so we're just going to take our time as we move into the week and find out what's really going on. So we're going to start with the Voice of Reason, Military and Foreign Affairs Network. So Isaiah 13 and 17, behold, I, the Most High, will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. The Medes are the Russians, them are the Babylonians, the Americans. Okay, so the Most High is clearly stirring Vlad up. We're going to watch a little bit of his tactics right here. I don't know how far this guy's going to go into, what's going on in Crimea, how mad Vlad actually is. He might just stick around Bakhmut, which is up here, but this is clearly Zaporizhia. And down in here, this is all Donbass coming over here. But down further, whatever's going on in Crimea is the main event in Eastern Europe right now, let alone the surroundings. If Taiwan is surrounded, if Syria has surrounded the Babylonians, if Iran, China, and Russia have surrounded the Babylonians in Syria, that's of more importance than whatever's going on here. So let's listen to this guy and see what he has to say. This is Military and Foreign Affairs Network. 12 minutes ago, battlefield Ukraine. Russia hits command and control targets, meaning this thing is escalating before everybody's eyes and nobody's being told about it. So let's listen to what's going on the ground.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the Voice of Reason. Decided to take Sunday off yesterday, and we are back at it today, Monday, this beautiful spring day where I'm at. And I'm sure many of you are experiencing really great weather where you are as well. So as we continue to cover the ongoing war between the Russian Federation and Ukraine, over the last 24 hours, we have seen two very significant Russian missile strikes against targets throughout Ukraine. There's been
Let me stop it right there, because they're very, very tight-lipped with any news coming out of that region right now. And they say that over the weekend, Vlad unleashed a grip of cruise missiles, hypersonic missiles, and things of that nature, and very little is getting out. And now he's confirming it, and I believe that what this guy who does extensive research, I believe that what he says is true. So let me back that up a little bit and listen closely, because this is, he's confirming a lot of what has been said. Your boy Chris Green, who you can't really trust because he's a sensationalist, but he did come out with this, and now it's being confirmed. So
continue to cover the ongoing war between the Russian Federation and Ukraine. Over the last 24 hours, we have seen two very significant Russian missile strikes against targets throughout Ukraine. There's been two very significant strikes that are not getting a lot of attention.
it must be these where they got nuked. What is this? Are these power plants?
Have occurred by Russian forces. Obviously, for propaganda reasons, the Ukrainian state tend to emphasize the harm to civilian sites and structures. And in all probability, it could be either the Russian errant cruise missile possibly being damaged by a Ukrainian surface-to-air missile system, or it could be those very Ukrainian surface-to-air missiles designed to shoot down missiles that are then falling back to Earth and hitting targets. We just don't know at this point. And in all probability, it could be either or. But there's been two reported attacks that are starting to leak out of the very, very tightly controlled, propagandized machine that is inside of Ukraine. And that is the strike on Mykolaiv, down here to the south, just to the northeast of Odessa. Apparently, a command and control node was hit in that area and caused significant casualties to Ukrainian higher-ranking leadership individuals, reportedly.
Now that's dealing with this spring offensive that they're supposed to be either about to launch or they've launched it and they're being cut off right now. So let's listen.
Obviously, there has been a lot of back-channel talk about what happened. There is even the possibility that there were foreign military personnel at that site as well. Very difficult to find out what actually happened, but nonetheless, it is causing quite a bit of chatter in Ukrainian circles about this strike near Mykolaiv. And it's if you look at Mykolaiv, there are a number of military units there, to include the Operational Command South. So a very important area for the Ukrainian military. Reportedly, one of the Admiralty buildings was hit. It looks like the Russians were trying to use bunker penetrators to get down deep at one of these possible targets in the city of Mykolaiv. You also have the 299th Aviation Brigade, the 10th Naval Aviation Brigade, you have territorial defense units, the 123rd Defense Brigade, you have the 503rd Marine Battalion, and then finally the 19th Public Protection Regiment National Guard. And in all likelihood, this area is being used as a staging area for possible offensive operations by the Ukrainian military, specifically directed towards the Kherson Oblast.
So, from what he just said, the big spring offensive hasn't started yet. They're trying to get people in position to do that. So, I'm going to let him speak a little more. We might cut it short.
Additionally, another strike occurred over here in the city of Pavlohard. And that is fairly significant, and I'll try to explain why. There are a number of military-related industries in this city. So how do we know that? How do we know there are targets sensitive to the Ukrainian military located in this area? Well, if you look at this military unit here, it is a security regiment, but when you click on it and you look at it, it is the 4th State Facilities Protection Regiment of the National Guard. These units, these Ukrainian National Guard units, are specifically designed to protect high-value Ukrainian installations. We could have seen any number of targets being hit by Russian cruise missiles. Again, there are industrial sites. There are industrial sites to the east of the city, and there are targets to the northwest as well that the Russians could have gone after. And we've seen a number of these strikes over the last few days. Actually, 2 waves of strikes that have occurred by Russian forces against targets throughout the Ukraine. But
in retaliation for what happened down in Crimea with that fuel depot. All right, so that's kind of a tit for tat.
2 areas, namely, it looks like the Russian cruise missiles got through and impacted on some fairly sensitive targets, and we're still trying to ascertain again what sorts of casualties were caused by the cruise missile strikes on Mykolaiv. Early intel indicates that approximately 20 higher-ranking meaning field grade officer and higher, Ukrainian military personnel were either killed or injured in this strike. And again, possibly Western military personnel as well that are there to assist the Ukrainians. And obviously, if you look
NATO.
at some of the air defenses that are located near Mykolaiv, you have the 208th Anti-Aircraft Missile Brigade and a number of other units as well. Further here to the south, the 7th Anti-Aircraft Missile Division, and so forth and so on. Now, we continue to hear about the prospect of this Ukrainian counteroffensive. Things are starting to allegedly dry out in eastern Ukraine. From some of the video footage we've seen, some of the roads are getting a little better. It's still not completely ideal. I give it a couple of more weeks, possibly, before conditions are perfectly acceptable for large-scale offensive operations.
Okay, that's what we need to know. So they haven't started the big spring offensive, counteroffensive, whatever you want to call it, because the ground is still drying out apparently. So we'll leave it right there. We hope that the let's see, we'll skip one on the way out. Let's see. I mean, because this is only Eastern Europe. There's more wars. What's going on? See, they had a big row, if you will, in the Sudan. Where's that information at? Matter of fact, let's go and see. Let's see what he's saying about it. If he's commenting on it at all. Lessons in Insanity, Battlefield Ukraine, 4 days ago. So nothing being said. It says military victory or failed state. This goes back 4 days, so there's no news, if you will, coming out of Sudan. So we'll go ahead and close it up right there. But the bigger picture is what? All right? Don't be fooled by not using a panoramic view, right? They call it World War III, all right? Meaning the entire world is going to be at war. Who says so? The scriptures. Revelation 11 and 14, the second woe has passed. Behold, the third woe is coming shortly. Third woe, third world war. Second woe, second world war has passed. What's coming shortly? The world being at war. These are just skirmishes, wars and rumors of war, not World War III and then the cracking of the sky. Release the cracking of the sky. All right, so with that, we hope that the elect will edify you, brothers and sisters, with that. Shalom.